Welcome to the Stockinette Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Janitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 178. What are we doing here? It's been so long since we podcasted.
Yeah, that was quite the hiatus.
Yeah.
But we gave you a few things to look at while we were gone.
Yes.
So, yeah. How was your week? Or several weeks?
Many weeks. Fantastic. I had this thing here in town where a bunch of people came and visited, and I felt a little ragged towards the end. I think you felt a little ragged towards the end. I think it's to be expected.
Yes.
If we've learned anything from our previous years. But other than that, weather's been really cool here, and work's been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody did my work for me while I was away.
No magic elves came in and did that for you.
Yeah. I hate it when people don't do my work for me when I'm gone. And yeah, life continues to truck on at home with tennis and t-ball and the stuff. My husband's doing that bike ride across to Iowa here soon. So, yep, back from the retreat, feeling like I've got more spare time, which is good.
It's true.
Outside of work, but
Yeah.
less time at work. So, how about you?
Let's see. Yeah, the retreat, Amy Ragged. Nobody did my work while I was gone.
Same.
Yeah. I went into work and felt woefully behind, and so I was trying to catch up, but then the kids were also they didn't have care for 2 days there that week.
4th of July.
Yeah, so my mother-in-law met my husband part way, so we were without kids for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. And then we went down to Iowa to get them. And yeah, it's been.
Did you see any fireworks?
Nope. Not well. I mean, there were some on Instagram and some on TV, but no, I didn't see them in person.
We saw Rochester's. We took my father-in-law, who was in town, which kind of delayed recording even more.
Yeah.
To our top of the parking ramp locale.
Oh, yeah.
And we also have some new neighbors that have a little girl who's about a year behind Ellie in school, which is kind of exciting. Mm-hmm. And for Miss Ellie, because she wants to run over and ask her to play all the time. And we showed them our kind of super secret spot as well. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, we I turned on some music. I turned on some Spotify while we were watching the music, and my kids were dancing, and the new little girl in the neighborhood was like, "Oh, I don't dance," and I was like, "Why don't you dance?" And she was like, "I'm too embarrassed. I don't want people to think that I don't dance well." And I was like, "If that's one thing I've taught my kids, you dance like nobody's watching. Like you you can't feel self-conscious when you're grooving to the music."
Right.
So
It's everything.
it does. I mean, if you're self-conscious about dancing, goodness.
Nobody watches this show, so I can act like a fool and be silly and
dance on the podcast
or sing. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if we want to wait till the end, like we have kind of most of the other time about talking about the retreat. But
I think we should hold off
the reprieve.
End, yeah.
Okay, give a reprieve to the folks that are tired of hearing about it. We promised we would quit talking about it. Yeah. So we've got some administrati stuff is still going on. Did you want to talk about our new KAL?
So I decided that our July and August would be not a sock, self-striping sock yarn KAL. So if you have a skein of sock yarn that you just don't think it has socks written on it, this is your KAL. So My plan is to do the Typhoon by Josh Ricks, and I've already started it, so you'll see that in my works in progress. And let's see what else. He's given us a coupon code that is SZ Typhoon. I don't know if capitalization matters. It did have a capital S, capital Z, and then lowercase Typhoon for $1 off that pattern. But I'm also planning on doing Martina Bem hat that Langsfield in sock weight. I've done a lot of them in worsted hand spun, but self-striping sounds like it would make an interesting hat in that pattern. So I'm going to try that as well.
Yeah, I don't have current plans. Probably will be a hat of some sort. And just in case there's any questions on that, I think that if you knit something that is not a sock and you want to enter it in both our self-striping KAL and this KAL, totally counts. Double dip for the same podcast.
Yes, and my understanding is that there is a Typhoon KAL going out, and so I would
triple dip.
Yeah, triple dip for sure.
Sounds like good ice cream too, triple dip. We also have the amazing String Theory yarns. Sent us these two gorgeous high twist Tinker Island fingering. And I locked down those threads. I wasn't as prompt as I said I was going to be on July 1st, but that got locked. And it was 2 through 333. And the winner of one of these two beauties was 184, and that is Dutch Girl 63. And she liked the marmalade and wanted to knit a dolphin cowl out of it, which I didn't look up the dolphin cowl, but seems like maybe there would be some like waves or jumping going on. So Monique, if you wanted to contact me, I can send you off this beautiful marmalade. And I also noticed when I was looking to see Monique's name, Dutch Girl 63's name, that her birthday is also my birthday. So, January 7th, Capricorns. And yeah, so contact me, Monique, and you might see this jump on the needles here eventually, the jade, by one of us. So pretty. Okay. And then we also had the July drawing for the self-striping. So that was two sisters. We decided that this didn't necessarily scream self-striping socks to us, although I think it would make lovely self-striping, but it would make a very nice shawl or hat as well. Very refined, kind of darker mood palette. I believe it's Gothic Rainbow is the colorway. So thank you to two sisters. This will be one of the prizes for the KAL that is the not sock self-striping. Yeah, those aren't socks self-striping. And then I also have some of my Vesper stash that I think that I'd like to kickstart all of this. So look for a thread out there that's like, I need self-striping for this KAL type thing. I'd like to give away a skein of my 100% merino that I don't necessarily think don't work well for socks for me.
She's hard on
stumbling over my words. Might be wonderful, but for you, but for me, I can't use it for socks. So I've got some Vesper that I want to use for this KAL, and also let other people have a chance at. It jumped to mind. But anyway, back to the self-striping KAL. The July winners, I drew 3. The first gets the Two Sisters Stillwater Sparkle Base in the Silver Lining Rainbow self-striping. 3 rows of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and variegated gray blue sky. Fancy. So again, thank you to Two Sisters. And the winners were 792, 181, and 428. So 792 is Steph, Knitting Samurai. Please contact me, Steph, and I'll get that out in the mail to you. Steph has done I think the self-striping KL with us every year that we've had it. So it's super exciting for Steph. And then the next 2, contact me with your choices of any of my patterns. It doesn't necessarily have to be the ones that I have grouped as self-striping. Hey, sir. But I do have a group of self-striping patterns that I think are either explicitly for self-striping or would knit up well in self-striping. And that is Summary Day. April was 181, and 428 was Knitting for Fun Pat. So if those two contact me with your choice of pattern, I will gift it to you straight away, and you will have some more fodder for the KAL. Ooh, yes, I love it when it's that feedback loop is such that they can knit more. Hi, Max. How are you? He likes this cooler weather.
Yeah, I bet. Fur coat and all. So, finished objects. While we were away, it feels like a million years ago, I had finished my Sunspots slash Hitofude, the Hito spots. So this is how it turned out.
And that's Leading Man Fiber Arts.
Yes, Leading Man Fiber Arts, the showstopper base. And it looks great.
Yeah.
And I like how everything worked out. And
Don't you know?
It'll be good to, the Don't You Know colorway. So that should be.
Did you like that weight?
I did.
As you were wearing it at the retreat, I was like, that looks like a nice, like, you're kind of bustling around, but yet still nice and airy look.
Yeah, and I think a few people have asked about less swingy versions of the pattern, and mine is definitely not as much fabric for the front part. They just kind of go straight down. It's got a little bit of A-line in it, but that was all created by changing needle sizes, not doing increases. So a lot less swing than the pattern calls for. The Hito Day calls for. I think that the Sunspots has two versions, one more straight and one more flowing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So the Hito Fudes, which I got corrected, Mr. Steven said that it's supposed to be Hitof Ude. Somebody that he knows that speaks the language is Hitof Fude. Ude. Hitof Ude. Instead of Hito Food. Yeah, because we're putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Hitofude.
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 Ude is the end. Ude. Heat off ude. Hitofude.
Hitofude.
Anyway, I still call it Hitofude in my mind because I said it wrong for the longest time. I corrected myself with Hitofude, and that is what it's going to be called. But Vitamin D has a huge, that one has a really big front. And the ones I've knit of the Hitofude is they don't have as much swing, but totally modifiable, right? I mean, the increases are written in such that you wouldn't have to do them at all if you didn't want to. Or you could do them less often and have less rapid increases, or you could just go up needle sizes like you did.
Yeah. Yep.
Totally modifiable.
Definitely. My second finished object is my spinning. So this was a Boho Knitter Chick Spins bat, and it was
wears some shades, very sparkly.
Yeah, it's a lot of. Hopefully you can see it. It is super sparkly. It was a smooth bat, so it was carded several times to be smooth. It was fun to spin, but I find that it turns out less consistent in the final object. But I knew that going in, so I like how it turned out. I finished it up for part of Tour de Fleece. I'm trying to participate in 2 of the unofficial teams or official teams, Cloud Lover, because I was invited, and Bosworth, so that my Bosworth spindles, I will be spinning on them, and I will be using them more and more, and trying to do that. But I also made myself a rack, so I'm like spinning on all the things. during the month of July. So my knitting productivity might go down, but it also might not, because there's only so much spinning that I can do in a day, and I like to sit. And I'm doing a lot of spindle spinning, which has me walking, getting steps in and stuff. But when I sit down, I don't always want to go to the wheel. So that, and it can be noisy at times with different bobbins. It gets a little like a whir going, and that's not always conducive to watching TV. So that is my finished objects.
All right. I guess I can do them in the order in which they were finished. I finished up. I can't remember where I was on this whole thing. I think maybe I was working on the lace. My second Beach Please. It wore really well at the retreat. I felt like it's a nice light layer, but it wasn't. I don't know. It's just this lace weight on 4s down in the round. It provides enough coverage that I don't feel like I'm like wearing a swimsuit sheer cover up, but yet it was nice and light. Like I never was like whew, warm with it. This is reusing the MCN Sun Valley fibers, which washes up really nicely, and some leftovers from one of the Hitofudes that I knit out of linen. This is the Squash Grapes colorway of Swoon Fiber Arts Marla base, which is a silk and linen, which adds again to the lightness of the garment with that silk and linen in there. And yeah, I've got a bunch of test knitters lined up. I need to write it up. I'm kind of procrastinating right now. Got my next one of these lined up, so it will. I'll be writing up the pattern or write it up and then test knit it for myself a third time. The other one that I knit with the peach and this blue Ellie is actually wearing. It was tight enough. It's really loose on her, and it's really long. It's almost like tunic length, but she rocked it. And she was like, I love this. And I was like, okay, you can have it. She put it on while I was packing up from the designer showcase. And wore it the rest of the time. So I was like, okay. Still had like the little tag on it that said what the yarn was and what the pattern was.
Well, I'm sure that was really helpful to anybody who wanted to know.
Shouldn't we all just do that at retreats? Walk around with tags hanging off of us that say what it is? But yes, absolutely love this. Again, horribly timed. I'll probably get this out and the pattern out in the fall after it's been test knit by myself and many others. But you know,
I have a lot of lace weight that is languishing in my stash, so
yep,
you can shoot that over to me as well.
Yep. And I think it would be fine in the winter. You would just layer stuff on top of it, like another piece of knitwear, or
put some sleeves.
Yep, sleeves under longer sleeves, or put some long sleeves on it. Got a turned hem here. I'm trying to think of other things. The stripes are repeated across the back. You wouldn't necessarily have to. My plans are on my next one to do striping, but you could do just the lace and then have it have the ribbing match the lace and everything else be a solid if you're not into stripes. Amy Herzog taught us in class that we should not be afraid of horizontal stripes, that our eyes don't pick up the width of people based on stripes being big around. It's actually more you notice if there's less stripes because they're vertical, right? Optical wise. And then I cast on and finished my Lucrezia, which is licorice in Polish, I believe. It's supposed to look like the licorice plant. This is out of Miracle Jen's ZK colorway Zombie Invasion. MCN. Really, really love it. Don't want to rub anybody's nose in it, but I believe somebody said it wouldn't look good in a highly variegated. I think it sings. The lace is super simple. It's like a 2-row repeat, which is cool. It's grown a bit. The lace stretches quite a bit. It's supposed to have some negative ease, but it's ending up with some positive ease on me, and I still think it looks good. tons of modifications. Not that the pattern was poorly written, just I know myself enough. I guess I can start from the bottom up, even though it was knit from the top down. I did not make it, it's supposed to be asymmetrical at the bottom, so the back has kind of like a flap, that it's longer in the back and shorter in the front. I just made it to match the ribbing all the way around. I forget what she calls it in the pattern. It's like a Polish word that didn't translate very well, like décollage. It is supposed to line up with almost where the armpit holes are, so I put it a good 2 inches earlier. And it's still kind of low cut for me. So if I had it down that low, it would have been super, super duper low cut on me. This opening was really gapey for me. So I picked up less stitches than was called for and ended up doing the really stretchy bind off that it calls for in the pattern, and it's still really gaped. And so then I did a non-stretchy bind off, and it's still really gaped. So then I went back and I did a short row from here to here, so not this portion, and I decreased a stitch every 6 stitches to really draw it in, and then I bound off. And that seems to have it sitting really well now. Yeah. But I worked these stitches over and over and over again to get them right, just because I don't like things that are gapey at the neck. Like I would find myself sitting here adjusting it constantly. I really like the sleeves have this motif repeated down. This is the contiguous sleeve method, which is really cool. You don't really do anything, cast on anything very differently. It's kind of like a raglan, but the sleeves just kind of pop up here out of nowhere rather than very slowly increasing. You do very rapid increases to get the sleeves. And then I decided while I was putting this together, this button is kind of low, as is written in the pattern. This was gaping a lot, so I pulled a Corey and just sewed it together. And because I know I'm never going to unbutton that part. It's low enough anyway. I'm never going to unbutton it, so I just sewed her right up. She's never coming open again. And alternated skeins throughout. I think it was somewhere in the middle here, in between a purl and a knit, which is my favorite way of doing it. And just really love it. It's a nice lighter layer because it's fingering weight on, I think it's 4s the pattern's written for, fingering weight on 4s. Did have some pooling in certain areas that I really noticed as I was knitting it, but it was still while I was alternating, so there wasn't a whole lot I could do about it. Right. Love, love, love it. Recommend the pattern if you want a really low cut kind of big necked thing. If you're not comfortable modifying that with it being really low cut and big necked, I would not recommend it, I guess. Because I did do quite a bit of modifications to make it work for me.
Which we should all do.
Yep. Well, and I totally no brain biffed it. Like, you do some increases here, and then in the pattern I went okay, I did those earlier. Well, I didn't read ahead as I should have, and cast on. There's a big cast on here to make this area, and so I would have had a nice little zoot zoot zoot, like a double edged faceted thing that would not have looked very good. So I ended up having to rip back.
Well, it just would have looked more angular, and I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't have been able to sew it up like that. But yeah, I enjoy it. I think it's going to get a lot of wear. And in general, I think that a lot of my fingering weight jumpers get a lot of wear. So, and that is the finished object extravaganza from us being gone for forever.
Yeah, and busy. But still, just 2 things.
Mhm.
3 sweaters.
Mhm.
I'm scanning yarn.
Mhm.
So, let's see. I don't know how many.
Progress.
Yeah, works in progress. I am still working on this thing, and it got a little bit of progress done at the retreat. I would
Yeah.
say 2 inches or so, and again, it doesn't look like it's changed much, but I'm enjoying the second story tee, and there is supposed to be 2 feet of this, so still more to go. I still haven't used very much of my yarns yet. This is pulling from the outside, this is pulling from the inside, so you can see this one's getting real squishy, but this one's getting a lot smaller. And, but still tons left.
Mhm. Are you supposed to use all of them?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I bought 3 to make sure I had enough, and I know that I'll dip into that 3rd ball.
I think I saw Katie was knitting that, or did she have already a finished one at the retreat?
I did not see.
Okay.
Let's see what else. I had my Twixt my Nethers socks, so I had a hoe, and I started, and I was wearing this one at the retreat over my bum foot. I hurt my foot, and
It was keeping you warm?
it was keeping it warm and keeping all of the wrappings and stuff in place, and then also when I put like ice packs on it, it was keeping it from being too cold.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks a little stretched out, but wash that right back into place.
Mm-hmm.
And then its counterpart is nearly done with the leg, and I will add the heel very quickly, I think in just 4 or 5 more rows. So that is coming along. That is a nearly done sock.
Cool. Matchy matchy with your bright yellow bag.
Yeah.
You got a lot of yellow going on.
I do. Excuse me. Let me see. Not much on that. Trying to organize.
Got one in your lap.
I know.
Okay.
So I got inspired, as it were, with all of the mini skein swapping that was going on to go ahead and use my leftover scrappy yarns in something. So we have a lot going on here.
Is this the width of the blanket?
Yes. So this will be, I think I'm adding 1 more square. So I think I'm going to do 18 squares. And so once I have those 18 squares done, I will go back and I'll start weaving in ends on the things that aren't going to need to be joined in with more squares, so that I keep on top of that. But I wanted to make sure that I got the whole of the width done before I started doing that.
And is that to fit like a certain sized bed, or just you wanted to do
I
18?
I kind of wanted it to drape over my couch comfortably. So I started with like 6 of them, and then kind of went 1, 2, 3, about 18. And then when I got to 16, I was like, no, this is actually a really good sized blanket, and you could probably block it to be like a topper on a queen size bed. Not to hang over the edges, but at least to cover the top of a queen size bed. So I was like, oh, this is good enough. But then I was like, no, the original 18 is only 4 more blocks. So I'm going to stick to the original plan of 18, and I should be there shortly.
And these are all super variegated. Are they from projects, or are they from minis that you had accumulated along the way?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So some of these I could probably tell you what all the projects are, but like this one was a swap one. This one was some socks from a kit that I got.
I saw a gamut in there.
Yep, Gamut's in there. This is Happy Snowman from Mary Gale. I haven't knit a project yet, but I had already balled up the yarn to use a little bit of it for something, and so I took a little bit more from it. This was a swap. This is some wool mice that I was using in something. This was some socks for my husband or my son, one of the two.
there. This was, I don't know, this one closely matches Gamut and another one that I worked with, so I think it's a swap one. Not a real, I don't know. There's some of them are very much like, yep, I've worked with all of these, and like this is definitely not something I worked with, the pink, and it's got pinks and like really dark green. Not leftovers from a garment or anything.
Yeah.
Just a mini.
Just a mini. But I will say that my next layer, because I was looking at all of my minis and different end projects, the rest of my minis are going to be pretty semi-solid, the ones that I have. So I'm thinking all of these had to be fairly variegated, but some of them ended up being more semi-solid than I thought. And so I'm going to end up with a lot of semi-solids. And then I have a lot of like self-striping or, you know, weird ones. So I was going to put those, you know, so I was kind of grouping them strategically. So the first set was going to all be kind of a hodgepodge random, but then the next grouping is going to be more of a semi-solid solid bit, and hopefully that plan will look good in a finished blanket. But I don't think there's you can't go wrong with this project, I don't think. I've seen a lot of them online, and I don't think you can do anything wrong with it.
Does that say the foundation row you've got going there seemed very variegated to me, so I didn't know if you were going to try to do any sort of color scheme, but it's...
Yeah, no color scheme, just trying to put things together that don't match up too much. So not too many greens with greens. This one kind of ended up close. There's a red with an orange. But trying not to put, like this one's got a lot of yellows next to a lot of yellows, but...
So is this the barn raising? Or is this a specific pattern?
This is a hodgepodge mitered squares.
Okay.
So I did the miter square one that I think it does a double decrease in the center for them, and I for some reason wasn't in the mood to do that kind of mitered square, so I went to a different pattern that I had. And I was looking at those mitered squares, and I said, that sounds good. And so I just cast on. So I reviewed a couple different patterns, and 36 seemed like a good number for the small skeins that I was using. So I cast on 36 and improvised, and away she goes. So, I don't know. It's a blankie. And it's using the same ideas as the mitered square blankies that I've seen. Sock yarn, scrap blankies. It's definitely not original, but I am not using the one that the same decreases that they use. So
do you end up going in and filling in like any of the unevenness, or does it just have that edge? Not, I wouldn't call it a ragged edge. It's a finished edge, but it's a jagged edge. That's the word I'm looking for.
Oh, my plan is to probably leave that at the bottom and the top, and do half triangles up the sides.
Okay.
To straighten that out, and then once it's all done and all the ends are woven in, and I look at it, decide if it's worth doing a border. So I've seen a lot of them get bordered, and I'm just not sure if I'm up for that slog. So I thought that I would just go ahead and figure it out, see if I wanted to do it after it was all put together and beautiful and 99.9% done, and then say, do I want to buy a couple skeins of sock yarn and go around the outside of this? And chances are the answer is going to be no. But if for some reason I just think that would just put the finishing touches on something that I worked so hard on, then yes, I will go into the store, buy a couple skeins of sock yarn and go around the outside. Probably a what do you call that? I cord bind off.
Okay.
of some sort.
Any more works in progress?
Oh yes, our typhoon. The not a sock yarn. I'm using my. This was gifted to me, Pam. Yep. So I really like that. I think it's a handy dandy tool. So I have this. Yes, it's super bright.
Was this a kit, or it was just yarn you had?
It was just Jenna yarn that I had in my stash. So the pink, I had her dye up to go with this one, the Zombie Party. And I was planning on doing something else with it. And then Josh came out with this pattern, and I thought, oh, that's what I should do with it. Now, I don't know if I am necessarily going to wear this, but we'll see. Get it all done and find out if it needs to find a fabulous home that would rock this color palette. I'm daring, but this might be better suited for somebody else. I'm loving knitting with it though.
Do you have somebody so specific in mind?
Not yet.
Okay.
Nope, I do not. So that is the Typhoon, and it's 716 yarn, sock yarn, and I am enjoying that, and I hope to get a lot further along. I have just started the third grouping of stripes, but it's supposed to use all of the yarns, and that's a lot of yarn left. So there is a lot to be done.
And it's just a basic repeat. Nothing is going to make it get. It's just going to not basic repeat, but it's going to gradually get bigger.
Yes,
the rapid zoom.
Yeah, it's just going to gradually get bigger, and as well as these strips of the self-striping is going to get wider.
Okay.
So I believe that the pinks are consistent.
Okay.
But the striping ones grow, so it'll change the cadence of the striping.
Super fun.
Yeah. So far, it's been a fun knit. And per Josh, it casts on with 11 straight out the gate, which is his favorite number.
Yes.
So that made me smile when I read that. So there we go. We have Typhoon on the needles.
Excellent.
And growing.
You are rocking the KAL already.
Yes. And I'm trying to, decide what is going to get my knitting attention during this spinning month, because I'm tour de fleecing. So it's going to be difficult to choose. I think my socks might get a lot of attention after tonight. Because they're so tantalizingly close to being done. Not that I have any desire to wear wool socks right now, but I definitely like when socks are that close to being done. They just seem to fly right off the needles.
For sure. Speaking of which, I have been doing some designing for Infinite Twist for that shawl, currently in timeout. I think I've kind of changed my mind too often, and yeah, sometimes you just have to walk away. Like, no matter what you do, it just doesn't seem right. And that's when you know, like, actually, I just need to walk away, because one of those things should have been right. And I'm just not liking what I'm doing with it at this point. No fault of the yarn, no fault of the design, just had to walk away. So I've been working on socks. I cast on for my class. I didn't think my OMG Heel class at the retreat at ZK, I didn't think I had time to work a complete toe-up sock and get to the heel and do that for two of them, because I had two things that I demoed in class. One was my short row technique, and the other was kind of retensioning or zhuzhing of stitches. So I provisionally cast on down here on these. Just a crochet chain, loosey, neat bee. I never know which bumps to pick up correctly. So, and I think I've linked to a Knit Picks one as well. You just do it right onto you just crochet it right onto the needle, and then you work from that spare yarn that you just crocheted right onto the needle up, and that worked out really well. I just kind of had like a rolly portion. It almost looked like reverse Rose City rollers. A rolly portion down here. Now these have been worked on at the retreat and have their memories. And so then I worked the cuff up. I've got a hoe, and then I came back, and you can't even see where it is. It worked out pretty well. It worked. I got to Kitchener. I never get to Kitchener. I never get to do toe-up socks, and I tried to do the more rapid or top-down socks. I never do. It's not that I don't get to. It's just I never do the more rounded toe decreasing. But it's funny. I got to the point where I need to do the toe, and I was like, I think this is where I need to do the toe. Like for the where to start the heel, I know exactly where I am, like lengthwise, but for the toe-up portion. And this is the fishnets self-striping that was in our goodie bags for the retreat. So I'll probably continue to keep talking about retreat things because I'm knitting with the retreat yarns. But it was kind of fun because the way I started it, I did from for this sock, I did from the inside of the ball up to the top, and then I did from the outside of the ball down, so that the striping sequence actually is from the middle out, which is kind of fun. And as you saw, I just joined in the yarn. I had already gotten both of these on the needles after I bound off for the cuff. So super soft. This base is, I loves it. I can't remember if it's just it's her strong heart. So it's a strong base, but I like it. Super soft. Super soft. And I'm just gonna leave it on. Just rock the one sock. And then as for part of the retreat, Amy and I both did prizes that are kind of near and dear to our heart. So for myself, I am doing the Year of Hito Fude, which I'm knitting or Hito Fude. I'm knitting one a month, and so I was up until June. I had all 6 of those done, and so July's we did a random prize drawing, and then Barb won, and she got to go choose yarn, and she chose this very luxurious, and I'm kind of like, at the time I was like, oh, that'll be a really nice one, but then I didn't think about I get to enjoy it as I knit it. Like, thank you, Barb, this is fantastic. So this is Sun Valley Fibers MCS in the Waterfalls colorway. I may or may not be like, don't go chasing waterfalls. I can't remember what they did with their hands while they were doing that. I feel like there was like a hand to elbow movement. Okay. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Anyway, Barb wanted some positive ease in like an oversized one and longer sleeves. And so I've got that portion done. But yeah, I don't think I even needed to reference the pattern on this one. Like, my husband's like, you're not even looking at the pattern. Nope, I'm not. I don't think I need to at this point. Knowing the number of repeats in per sleeves, and yep, it's a comforting knit. I'm sure you'll get to that with your mitered squares there.
Oh yeah, I don't. Why would I?
Yeah.
I already know.
Yeah. So it was fun. Barb is a very wonderful person to be able to knit this for, and I had a lot of people be like, I really wanted to be mad at the person that won that, but I really like Barb. Like, she deserves it. That's awesome. And I was like, oh. So that made me happy. There was no like winner's guilt involved. It was just like everybody was super happy for Barb that I would be knitting her one.
Well, I'll talk about mine a little bit. I get to start spinning a lovely batlet set from Naturally Knitting, and that's right? Naturally Knitting?
Naturally Knitty?
Knitty? On the other side, yeah, Knitty, sorry, Naturally Knitty, and it's the dark side of the rainbow, and so there's every color of the rainbow mixed with black and a little bit of white, So it'll make a very interesting hat.
So you're spinning it, and then you're going to make a length field, right?
Right. So this will be a spun length field when I'm done. I got 2 of these just in case I didn't have enough in one. But it could be that this will be enough. I don't know. So, but I'll spin it both up and we'll see. Maybe the baby will need a hat because this went to Jessica.
And me?
And Jessica, huh?
And Wesley.
And Wesley, yes. Wesley is her son, who she brought to the retreat, 6 weeks old.
They did the 5K.
What? And they walked the 5K, and he was such a champ.
Mm-hmm.
I got to hold him at dinner one night and just like get all the baby snuggles out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a good baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had his moments, but
don't we all?
Yeah, don't we all? At 6 weeks to do that, just she had her mom with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was team effort.
Mm-hmm. I was happy for her that she was able to come.
Yeah. So she was one of our winners, and I will be spinning that up as part of July. I don't know if I will get through all of it in July, but I will try my hardest to get that done very soon. And then the hat will zoom. I'm sure as soon as that stuff is spun, the hat will just fly, and will be very exciting.
So much fun.
Yep.
So many memories to carry forward with us. So now can I talk about the retreat, or we're going to talk about enabling?
Well, my enabling would be retreat related, so
yeah,
you go ahead.
Okay.
Talk about the retreat.
No, I just feel like I don't know that, I mean, we talked to people, but I don't know that I remember us really recapping it very well in the past. Maybe we have.
No. We always hate our recap.
Yeah, and other people do a really good job of it, and we say they did it better.
Yeah.
But I truly feel like this year it was such a community effort. You know, obviously Amy and I planned and coordinated and had a lot of the stuff set up, but we had a lot of help this year. So fantastic volunteers made it so that I felt like I got to spend a lot of time with people rather than doing a lot of the admin overhead work. We always try to keep things super busy, but if you want to just be kind of like relaxed and go out to eat and knit and that's all you do, then that's what you do. But you had your wine tasting. I had my 5K. We did the designer showcase. It was fabulous. I had pictures and I failed to make a collage. I think I just need to put it out in our forums, all of the folks in front of their booths, and had a lot of positive feedback about the designer showcase that people really enjoyed. Just getting to talk to the designers, right? It wasn't necessarily a marketplace per se, although I believe everybody's patterns were for sale or for free on Ravelry that were there. But it's just, people can ask questions and try on things, and had a lot of comments. The hat looked really different on the podcast. It's a lot different in real life. It's like, yep, no matter what we do, quality is going to be, if we sent you the size of the files that we actually created, nobody would download it. And then YouTube does whatever, and it gets, quality is degraded for sure. Marketplace was fantastic this year, like huge open ballroom filled with just fabulousness. We had Stephen B. come and MC our runway show, and that man has a God-given talent for just making everybody entertained and everybody feel just super positive about what they knit. Getting like teary just thinking about it, but I had so many people come up and be like, he just knocked it out of the park. So not that I think that Stephen is watching, but if you don't know of Stephen B., a very generous and wonderful man who came and did a very good job at our retreat.
He did.
5 stars out of 4 as far as I'm concerned.
Minnesota's own Stephen B.
Yep, the glitter knitter.
Yeah. Be sure to watch this TV show.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have a web series based on his travels. And it's fascinating character.
Yes, for sure.
He wore Corey's coat that whole
rocked it.
Hysterical.
Yes.
And it was really fun event. We had our photo booth. They did an amazing job once again. I love the photos I took of my Hito spots in the photo booth. I was like, oh, I need a photo booth every time I take an FO picture.
Yeah.
Because everything like just popped, and I was like, oh man, I could just turn around, do the everything. It was lovely. And what else?
Loved Pannekuchen this year. I think everybody, a lot of people took us up on our little coupon cards to go over and get a breakfast on us, and they absolutely loved all of you. I talked to them today and just like, we love your people. How can we get more of your people here? And yeah, just it's such a, I mean, we kind of, it's like a, if you build it, they will come. We kind of put the scaffolding in place, but it's all the people that come and make it fantastic, right? I mean, you're kind to each other, you're kind to us. Everybody's, it's just such an uplifting, I feel like my heart was filled during the retreat. And the retreat is only a certain number of days, but you take all of those friends home with you. And it's fun to see some of the people that have been there from the beginning, their friendships have grown, and some of the connections they're making outside of the retreat now because of meeting each other at the first or second one. So
I could say it's a little sad because people are stealing my Karen from me. Bulky, I was the maid of honor at her wedding. She was a principal member of my wedding. I love her to pieces, and now I'm sharing her with you, and I don't like it. So you get to see what a wonderful and generous person she is.
Dark side of knitting retreats. Amy gets her friends stolen.
I know. So,
but yes, she was a huge help this year. She helped do the badges, and so totally awesome, wonderful, uplifting folks, and we thank you all for coming to join us for that time together.
Yeah. So for everybody who came, thank you so much. You made it a wonderful event. A lot of our comments from first timers was just how surprised they were at how open or welcoming, because they weren't sure that they were going to step out of their shell or whatever, but everybody made them feel so much more comfortable that they were just with their people, and they met so many of their people while they were here. So I say that, it's a really great group.
Yeah, and again, I'm not patting us on the back at all. It's the people that showed up and were kind to each other and kind to us and had fun, right? We're willing to step out of their comfort zones and just have a blast with, joined together by our love of a craft. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Just fantastic. Thank you to everyone that joined us. Again, hopefully that's a better recap than we've done in the past.
Yes, and anybody who pitched in when I was hobbling around, thank you very much. I sprained my ankle during the retreat Friday afternoon, to be precise. And
you were maimed by the bus again, right?
Yes, the bus got me again. I have been told by several people who've been on the bus trip with me in the past that they're going to harness me into the bus, and I will not be able to leave once I've gotten on the bus. It'll be like
a Amy-sized booster seat with like the 3-point harness.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, I've been told because I hurt myself when I'm leaving the bus when I should be like staying on the bus. Yes. It's always at some point where I'm like, oh, I need to one more thing, and I go down the stairs and something happens. So this year it was spraining my ankle. But yes, to everybody, we had our concierge Vicky helping us with the retreat all weekend, and she brought me a little rascal scooter. so that I could beep around, beep beep. But I was bad and I didn't use it as much as I should. But the swelling has gone down for anybody who is still concerned about me, and things are going well. I'm actually considering going back to working out, just not as much with running or jumping or anything like that. Just trying to keep going on the regular strength training.
Yeah, sprains are the worst.
They pretty much are. My kids come at me sideways because I think like I'm doing really good and things are good, but then like I'll have to do a sidestep or something because somebody shocked or surprised me, and then I'm like, oh, ow, 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 I am not better. But
when I rolled my ankle, pro tip here for anybody, and we're running out of time to talk about our purchases. When I sprained my ankle in the San Francisco Marathon in a pothole, like I rolled my ankle and I continued on, and then it was like not workable for several weeks afterwards. One of the things that helped me the most with getting back that ankle strength was doing stands on one leg. So do it on both. You don't realize when you're standing on one leg, the muscles are retensioning and helping you balance, and that helps strengthen them without like straining them, because all you're doing is standing. And you can work up to trying to stand for like 30 seconds on one foot. So I'm doing this to show you, because I mean you really do, especially when they're sore, feel the muscles like tensioning and trying to adjust and hold you upright. So pro tip. Excellent. I'll give you that for free.
Thank you.
You don't need to go to a physical therapist to have you tell them that.
Thank you.
They'll tell you that. But yes, I was unrestrained in the market this year.
I know.
I went a little like, okay, well, these are fabulous, and I'm going to continue to buy. I got this yarn, which came home with me, and you got that fiber that came home with you, that Chaz, get out of Amy's bag.
Yeah, Chaz.
That I don't know what he's doing. It looked like he was hunting for food or something. So that came home with me, but it won't live with me, and I'm immediately knitting it, so kind of doesn't count.
It was barely stash.
Barely. I mean, it was almost immediately balled up. And I'm storing it in my brown dog bags, which I think looks so nice with that little gray in the paisley. And this is the perfect size for the Hito Fude. Like I've got one that's bigger from her, but all four of my skeins fit in there, and then the sweater sits on top and it zips up real nice. I think this is her her shawl sized, or is it her sweater sized? I think her big one is the sweater sized, if I remember correctly. Cool. Yes. Other things that immediately got, and then I have a little
brown dog bag.
Yeah, brown dog bags, sock pouch that has some line zebra.
It got you.
It got me. And then my daughter ended up with one of your mom's pickle bags.
She did.
She's kind of a big deal. Is what she decided to tell everybody. But no, I immediately balled up because I'm going to knit my mom Beach Please out of Leading Men Fiber Arts Soliloquy. Hi, Chaz. What do you think you're doing? He's just trying to find a place to sit, in the middle of everything, because that's what you do. This is, I can't remember what the gray is. It's obviously the Soliloquy base, which is BFL, 100% BFL, London Fog. And then I got one of his gradients, to keep the colorways in. I think that I could tell the difference between these two, but like as you get in here, I probably wouldn't be able to reverse engineer it, but I just put a string through the middle because it seemed fun at the time. Yep. So this is a gradient. So these equal. These are this is 650 yards, and this is 5 times 130, so it's 650 as well. And I think I'm going to make. I haven't decided whether or not I want to make the lace like a gradiated lace, and then work it as stripes. As the pattern is currently, the main color is the same color as the lace. So I don't know if the gray, and then these will just be the stripes that will radiate through the colors. But super excited about that.
Cool.
And this is the Poison Apple, I believe, gradient, and then I put it in my apple bag because, you know, I'm all about matchy-matchy. Where else did I get? Hi, buddy. Fleur de Fiber was knitting on her ZK colorway when the blood pools in socks, and it was knitting up in socks just beautifully. And so I really liked the purples and reds, and that's Fleur de Fiber. This is 100% superwash merino. I could see it as a joyful joyful. I could see it as like a sock head hat. Really liked that one. What else? Happy Go Lucky had some really fun gradient balls. I got the Wonder Twins in the Rainbow Bright colorway. I'm thinking that these would make some really fun Static Zing, but they could be Static Zing socks, or they could be a Static Zing hat. Like a fingering weight. So I've got two of them, and I could start from the green on this one and the blue on this one. And that's Happy Go Lucky. It's her 75% merino, 25% nylon.
Cool.
Yes. Fell down on that one. And then I had some gift skeins down in there, but I went to the Knit Buffalo, which was fantastic.
That was fun.
In addition to Jenna having her 716 stuff, she has some stuff from New York. So Jill Draper makes stuff. This is 500 yards. It was super reasonably priced for 500 yards, and I just really liked these two together. I don't know, so I've got 1,000 yards. I could make some sort of stripey something. Esopus, chlorophyll, and purple sapphire. And this is 100% American grown and spun superwash merino wool. Just really pretty colors together. And Jenna showed me with this, because I was deciding between this and a blue, that if you are trying to figure out if some colors go really well together, and she said that some people don't like having their yarn untwisted and twisted, but she twisted it up for me together, and that sometimes helps. If you're, in addition to doing like the black-white filter on your on the Instagrams, you can also do that. And then I also, new to me, Nerd Girl Yarns, and this is the Back from Earth colorway.
I got the exact same one.
And we went down there independently.
We did.
So I just really liked that it transitioned from the blue and the purples and pinks and oranges. And that was that was a lot compared to years past.
Okay. Well, I think that I pre-ordered a lot more than I realized. So this is the culmination of my Gilmore Girls Club. So this is Sarcastic Chick Gilmore Girls Club. So this was a quote from Lane. And I really like this. It's got bright blues, pinks, and then oranges and greens. How do these things work together? But they do, Mary Gail. And then it came with this super cute bag. And this is my first one of these from Mary Gail. I haven't had one of her bags before. And that came with the club. It might have been an option when I first joined. I don't remember, but it ended up that I got the bag and the last yarn together at the retreat.
Yep, and somebody very luckily won a subscription to that club.
Yes, don't you know, that's amazing. So I had pre-ordered from 3 Irish Girls a sweater quantities of one of my favorite bases, Kel Sport, in the Amy colorway, because how could I not? I knew that they'd
your colors and your name.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of got it.
So this is probably going to become one of those shifting. It's just a cable, long sleeve cabled sweater. And I hope I have enough. Yeah, 320 yards each. I should have.
Times 4.
If not, it can be a shorter 3/4 length sleeves would be fine with me. I am pretty excited to knit a sweater out of this base. I have knit shawls, I've knit socks.
Is that merino or?
Yeah, it's just 100% merino, and
Sport,
obviously. Yeah, sport weight.
High twist.
Yeah, it just the base really shows stitch definition and just does. I don't know. I really like this base. It is washed up really nice in the things that I have in it. Yeah.
That colorway is very layered as well.
Yeah. It is. It is very nice, and I'm excited to knit with that. I went nuts. If you went nuts, I went crazy nuts. So this is the Magic Ball from Sophie's Toes. This is Moss and Petals. She had this knit up in a shawl in the booth, and simply irresistible. Yeah, it was like, I want one of those balls, please. Now,
shawl was pretty. That ball is gorgeous. Like, you look at it and you're like, ah.
So it might just live as a pretty for quite a while. But then I will turn it into something amazing.
It kind of reminds me of those like loop bumps, like with the different colors and the layering.
So it's 15 sections of, and 150 grams superwash soft yarn.
It's so pretty.
Cool. Love it.
She has a really great color sense.
Yeah, and it was really neat to see it knit up. I got the Bajoran Wormhole colorway of those Wonder Twins. So it's dark blue to purple to light blue to a white. And I thought about pre-ordering, because she had the option, because she ran out. You could pre-order the other colorways, like the one you got. But I was like, no, I'm really starting to fall in love with this one. So, Bajoran Wormhole.
I may have picked that one up from as well.
And then, trying to... Zombie Invasion on her worsted base. Had to have it.
Pretty hat.
No joke. I was like, mine. I love this colorway. I have it in the sock yarn, and I'm very excited. But I was super pleased to see it in a worsted weight as well. Yay!
Miracle Jack.
Let's see. I also hit up the Jill Draper that you did, but I got a blue and a green.
That sapphire? Or those? Or not sapphire, chlorophyll. Those are the two that I was deciding between with the purple and the green. So we just basically independently shopped in parallel.
At that store, yes. Very much so. But I really liked the base and just really wanted to try something. And it's Jill Draper, so I'm not going to be able to get that just anywhere. I mean, you can get it on her Etsy shop occasionally, but to be able to touch it, feel it, pet it, and see the colors together, you weren't going to get that opportunity very often. So I got these.
Jenna has quite the setup.
Yes.
You can go see her yarn truck. You should.
And then another one that I pre-ordered was the Knits in Class. She had a zombie, let's see, You've Got Red on You, zombie themed skein.
So pretty speckled.
And yeah, it's a speckled gradient type of yarn. And she had a couple of these knit up, different. She had a hat that she had done for this, but then she also had different types of color gradations that she had knit up in different ways. So if I liked the You Got Some Red on You colorway, she kind of had the ideas for what to do with it in her booth. And Knits in Class is local to us, and I really appreciated her coming and being there, and I pre-ordered this and gave it to me at the retreat. Then there's that exact colorway that Megan was talking about,
Nerd Girl.
Nerd Girl. And then Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn. I could not put down this lovely pistachio. And if I ever want some of this Hedgehog Fibers, I might just be calling Jenna and say, surprise me. I just, give me some more.
Super soft. I was talking to her about that base, and she said there's something that they do in Ireland with their merino, because this is Irish merino. It's super soft.
The clover.
Super soft. All they eat is 4-leaf clovers.
And it makes them so much softer.
Oh, so much softer.
So, love the Hedgehog Fibers. Was very excited to get to see it in person and touch it. I know Stephen B has it as well, so I have seen and touched it before. But and
if you want to grab some of your own, Jenna's got it in her truck. Stephen's got it in his store, and Simply Sock Yarn has a ton of it in stock.
Okay.
I've been like eyeballing it possibly for future sweaters. So
well, it was just this color that, you know, I wasn't intending to buy a single skein of sock yarn, but this colorway was like, buy me now. So I really love this pistachio. I also had to buy our colorway that hell hath no fury like a woman scorned for Sega, which is a Mallrats quote. And watching some...
Not Buffy?
Right, I know, right? Deviated. It's a special.
It's a special.
A special.
Do you see the aura around it?
Yeah, she had dyed it up for our retreat. Gave it a special Mallrats name. Not by my request, but I love Kevin Smith, so I was happy with that. And this particular one, the base wasn't one that I would normally have chosen. This is the 100% superwash merino. But the way that the dye hit this, it's my favorite. I looked through all of them and got the bases I liked and went, no, this base likes these colors. And they sing when they're together.
Lots of really great shadows on those plies with the speckles. Like it hit part of the ply, but not all of it with that twist. I like it a lot.
So this will be one of those fun kind of rainbowing pops here and there type of skeins. I saw Jenna knitting it, and it kind of spiraled in the cadence she was knitting, so that's really interesting. And again, you know, not that they weren't on my radar before, but some more of my favorites are Fiber Addiction M. I had already bought some of hers at Shepherd's Harvest, but when I was there, I made a little request that please have some worsted weight or DK in that lovely color. And so it was there, and I bought it. So this is Not All Who Wander, and lovely, lovely, lovely. Love the price point. Had to buy it.
Toy hat? What are you thinking?
Oh, baby.
Baby.
So the next baby, and possibly girl, because it's got a lot of hot pink in it, that comes into my life is going to get lovely squish. Excellent. Knit up for them. Who knows when that'll happen. We had a rash of them, and now it's slowing down again. But I thought I'd be prepared. Oh, so nice. This base might have to knit my other stuff that I got in that base. And then, of course, self-striping had to jump into my cart. We have some fish lips in the bootstrap. Fish knits in the bootstrap 2-ply fingering. This is the Superwash BFL with 20% nylon after the storm. So this is rainbow with gray in between each of the rainbow.
And it's on BFL. So
and it's on BFL.
And it's self-striping, so she just basically is taunting me.
Love, love, love. But then this was another one, Cool 10, that was knit up in a sock on the table, and I went, that. I just was like, and that. What is that? And so she got that out for me. Cool 10. Love it. So cool. As the name so aptly implies. There were so many great stripes there. If I had budgeted for it, I would have had one of everything.
Yeah,
there were so many.
I helped sort some of the self-striping, and I knowledgeably went, I cannot walk into this booth when she is accepting money. Like I was like an addict that had to say, no, I can go nowhere near that, which is my addiction.
Look at this, greens and
I know,
teals.
Amy, I know.
Shut up, this is so cool. And I bought fiber. Lordy, did I buy fiber. So, I believe that Hobbly and Naturally Nitty were my other big fiber, but they got put into my fiber stash and didn't end up in the easy tote. So I will bring that by next time. I got some poonies, I got some batlets, and I got some batlings. Just different names from the different dyers. And I am so super excited to tackle those here shortly. And I know that these ladies, Hobbly and Naturally Nitty, will be immediately replenished as soon as I've spun them up, because I am really, really, really enjoying them.
They're prepped and
yeah, it's just
dying.
Yeah, it's all coming together really pretty, and I really like it. And I know that when I'm, like I said, getting ready for the next, it's like, oh, I'm out of that, I need to get some more. So I will probably get thee to a festival or order online. But so much wonderful stuff. And
I do feel better about my purchases.
Don't
now.
you?
I do. Like, okay, well, Amy did really outbuy me as far as, but you did get a sweater quantity.
Well, I pre-ordered this. And
so the pre-orders, and then the day of purchases snuck up on you.
They did.
And pre-orders did not stave off the day of purchases.
Nope, not at all. I think that that Buffalo truck might have gotten the largest group besides 716 and 3 Irish Girls. I think they got the majority of the dollars, but when you're buying a sweaters quantity from one, and then you can't stop getting grabby hands in the truck with all those different dyers. I mean, I got 4 different dyers in one place. So
we both picked similar things.
We did. We did.
But yes, it was a fantastic market. It was a sight to beholden. I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I did, and that the vendors all enjoyed themselves as well. It was fantastic. I saw many people walking out with bags, because we give you these big bags that you can see through, and there's always like the first round, and then you kind of take some out, and then we kind of like cross-enable each other inter-market. Like, where did you get that? Oh, okay, I'm going to go check that out. And yeah, it was fantastic. Thanks to all the wonderful vendors for all of the prep and hard work they put into making that a wonderful marketplace. So very thankful for, again, just very thankful. All of our sponsors, all of the vendors, all of the people that taught classes, all of the people that helped us run events, everything. Fantastico. Have nothing but great things to say, and feeling very blessed and surrounded by love. So
yes, and I will be shocked if any of this gets knit with in 2015.
Currently,
well, yeah, and I will thin and knit this for sure,
because it's for somebody else,
for
not
somebody
for
else.
us.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
But I'm still very happy with all my purchases, and thank you to everybody who came by and thanked us or gave us a little gift from where they're from. Lots of beautiful things. So very generous, and we really appreciate it.
For sure. Lots and lots to be thankful for.
Bye.
Bye, Uvda.